One of the bright young stars we've come to get to know here on New Japan Strong is my guest at this time, Danny Limelight, who has been, man, just a great story, my friend. I've really enjoyed getting to see you compete, getting to learn about you, and I think the best is yet to come. How are you doing?
How you doing, Kevin? First of all, I just want to take a second to thank you for having me here. Super grateful for this opportunity, and I'm super excited to be part of, Lion'S Break, to be a part of the New Japan roster, and I just been having a blast with it. It's been a real humbling experience, and I'm just super excited to see where it's going. I've been receiving a lot of positive feedback from a lot of people online, and just a humbling experience, and I'm honored to be part of this team. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, and again, your story is a great one. We'll talk about your military background, your service to this country, and all the things you've done leading up to this point. But of course, the Lion'S Break Crown tournament right around the corner. It's a knockout format, 8 top young stars. Everybody's starving, beyond hungry. Everybody's starving.
Everybody wants the shot. Everybody wants to be crowned king, from what I'm hearing, I don't know, I could be wrong. From what I see and what I'm hearing, is there's a lot of talent, a lot of upcoming talent in this tournament. So stoked to be a part of it, but definitely not sleeping on my opponents.
No, and again, the idea of competing in relative obscurity, making a name for yourself, slowly starting to grow, and then all of a sudden coming out like a shot on Lion'S Break Collision and getting that first opportunity, and to see how you've continued to grow week after week on New Japan Strong, it has been great. But I bet it's been quite a change for you.
It definitely has been, coming up wrestling on the independent scene. I get to travel around, get to wrestle a bunch of talented guys from all over the United States and Mexico included. And then now stepping into what I consider to be the big leagues, with New Japan and now being in the ring with guys like TJ Perkins, Rocky Romero, Bullet Club members, and then the young Lions themselves. There's just a different level of talent that I haven't been in the ring with before. So, stepping into the ring the first time, getting my feet wet at Lion'S Break Collision in the ring with somebody as experienced, as internationally traveled, and as successful as TJ Perkins, that was a straight shot to the gut right off the jump that I was not expecting. And then, stepping into the ring with guys like Mysterioso, and then tag teaming against, Adrian Quest and Rocky, and just really getting my feet wet in New Japan Pro Wrestling it's been challenging, but I believe that what I've continued to show on a weekly basis, that my tenacity, my understanding, my knowledge of my opponents, and how this whole system works in New Japan has been growing, and I've just been trying to adapt weekly. And that's something that you brought up that the military taught me. It's just being able to stay in the fight regardless of who my opponent is, and being able to adapt and overcome all odds. And I've just been trying to stay aggressive, and I've been trying to stay, grounded at the same time, because aside from being in the ring, just thinking to myself, being a part of this team, being a part of this roster is something that I never thought would happen when I first, started training to be a professional wrestler. And now that I'm there, it's like a wow feeling. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it gives me this feeling of like I've achieved something that a lot of people can't do, and it's a privilege and an honor. And I just want to make sure that every week when I go out there, I step into the ring, that I'm doing the best I can and showing that I belong.
Boy, you can definitely feel the enthusiasm as we talk, and it's just been great. Now, of course, your military background, you served in the Marine Corps, and I've told the story during commentary. You were a drill sergeant. You were the guy who was in the trainees' faces, right?
I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17 years old in 2009, and I went to Marine Corps boot camp in South Carolina. I began my journey as every other Marine does, making my way through the ranks, deployments, traveling the world far and few, and just grinding. And then eventually, when I became a sergeant, I fell into the top 10%. I was selected to go to drill instructor school. I went to drill instructor school. So like the Army is called drill sergeants and the Marines are called drill instructors.
Drill instructor, yes.
Drill instructors, yes. I went to drill instructor school. I graduated number 1 out of my class, and then from there I was awarded, the non-commissioned officer sword and the statue, and just like I felt like that pride of belonging. And then I went into the trenches, is what we called it. I was part of 2nd Battalion Fox Company, and then 2nd Battalion golf company. I did 2 companies, and I trained over 350 recruits. You know, I was in their face, grinding them out, pushing them to their limits, breaking them down, building them back up, and just seeing these young men coming through, 18-year-old men, 17-year-old men, all the way to, you know, age 27, from all over, you know, the West Coast side of the Mississippi River, and here in San Diego, California. It was just an humbling experience being able to mold them and teach them the ways of being a Marine, and that honor, courage, commitment, and that pride of belonging, and that feeling of serving your country, and then watching them walk across the parade deck 13 weeks later. They graduate, they're little privates and privates first class, and they're so proud, and their families hugging them, and they're feeling, you know, that feel of accomplishments, and they're telling me thank you for this and that, and really, you know, it's those young men and women that join the military, all branch, any branch, doesn't really matter. They volunteer at 18 years old or younger, and they go serve, you know. And me just being able to have a hand in that, and just being able to help mentor and train was amazing. 350 Marines I was able to train, and I'm super thankful for the opportunity.
Well, again, you've positively affected all of those lives and all those families. So I think your contribution to the military, you know, to the Marine Corps, and to the safety that all Americans enjoy, it cannot be understated at all. And we really appreciate that, and thank you for your service. You mentioned Rocky Romero, and of course, when I talk to young wrestlers, and especially anybody from California, obviously Rocky is, you know, he is a household name to so many of you. But what has it been like getting sort of that nod that Rocky gave you to be like, you might be somebody I could keep an eye on. You could be something. Did that put more pressure on you?
Honestly, you know, I met Rocky the first time when I was a young wrestler coming up, you know, on the independent scene, and a championship wrestler from Hollywood. And there was just something about his energy, the way he carried himself, his charisma, his in-ring abilities. You know, he was one of the guys that I had on my list of guys I've always wanted to wrestle. You know, Rocky Romero. You know, and seeing him say what he said on Twitter, and then seeing the fans react to it, and just being in the ring with him and seeing his style, and I mean, everybody was watching. You know, like I feel like we had some kind of like energy that just vibrated off each other. You know, it was almost like, you know, some of the people that were tweeting and posting was like, oh, look, a young version of Rocky Romero in there with the old version, you know, and it was pressure, but I took it as a challenge. Mm-hmm. And it was like, okay, if he thinks this is all I got, or he thinks he wants to keep an eye on me, now let me give him a reason to get in the ring with me. Now let me give him a reason to step his game up, to see that, you know, I'm coming, Rocky. Like, I'm coming for your spot. You know, like you gave me that blessing in a way, and now I'm going to show you why I deserve the blessing. And then, you know, this is one of those businesses where we're going to lock horns. We're going to get in the ring. We're going to step across the, you know, and we did that. And it's just, it felt good. It felt like one of those, like, I don't want to say checking the box, because I feel like it takes away from what it actually was, but it was like earn that man's respect. And if he didn't give it to me yet, when he steps into the ring with me one-on-one over and over and time again, it's gonna become that mutual respect. Because
I'll let you in on a little something. And this isn't anything Rocky told me, but this is me knowing Rocky and seeing him. His goal is to be the junior heavyweight champion. He wants to be the IWGP junior heavyweight champion. He held it as Black Tiger, but never as Rocky Romero.
Right.
He is pushing himself to make that run. And he's not necessarily looking at you as somebody who he can just help, even though he can, but he is looking at you, somebody who can push him to get him ready for his ultimate goal.
Right.
So I'll let you in on a little secret that I believe to be the case, but that's part of the reason. I think he saw something special with you, Danny. That's like, this guy's going to make me better and get me ready for what I need to accomplish before I can ever think of hanging him up.
And I take that as a huge compliment. But on retrospect, on the flip side of that, that's something that I'm looking at as a long-term goal as well. And if there's anybody that can get me there, is somebody who's held the championship before. Yes, that's Black Tiger, but the man underneath the mask, you know, was Rocky Romero. And if Rocky Romero is pushing that way in the future, And maybe that's the person I want to grab onto, and see where that takes me. And eventually, hey, maybe he does become champion, and I'm the guy standing across the ring from him right after, looking for a shot at the championship one day.
And all of that is a distinct possibility, no doubt about it. But I think a big kind of looming, overarching problem for everybody on New Japan Strong is the power and presence of Bullet Club.
Yes.
They have too much horsepower, too many bodies, too much unity. I just don't know how anybody is ever going to be able to accomplish their goal if a member of Bullet Club says, I want the same goal. So you're going to have to, at some point in time, you and everybody else in the other locker room are going to have to come together and decide we need to do something about Bullet Club because they're going to run us out of the building.
When I think of Bullet Club, they're tactful, they're smart, they're cohesive, they're a unit, and they move like, not at Flip Gordon, but they move like mercenaries. They move with one thing in mind: money and championships and gold, and they move like a pack of wolves. When you least expect it, here's one, here's another one, until they get the upper hand, and it works for them every time. And what I don't understand is that how this has gone on for so long and nobody's been able to stop it.
Because I don't think people are willing to put their egos aside the way Bullet Club has. They check their ego at the door, man, and they are all for one and one for all.
But if you look at the guys, Jay White, Kenta, Hikaru Tama, Chase, all these guys are all individual, and many, many more. They're all individual stars alone, and they're together as one. And you look at the history of Bullet Club, all the people that have been part of that unit. It's just been champions after champions after champions who were able to put their ego aside and work as a team. And I feel like, why can't anybody else do that? Or better yet, I've been grounded. I've been in the fight. Like, I'm not afraid to be outnumbered. I'm not afraid to have my back against the wall and fight. And we'll see if I ever step into the ring with Bullet Club. We'll see if I've ever approached this situation. I know it's only a matter of time before maybe one of them sees me as a threat and want to take me out.
It would be interesting to see, but I'm just putting it out there because, again, that challenge that lays before you is not just about, Lion'S Break Crown, not just eventually getting there with you and Rocky and how that all shakes out, but again, worrying about Bullet Club as well. So talk to me about your involvement with the Marine Corps now. Again, once a Marine, always a Marine. So how has active duty life now changed for Danny on a day in, day out basis? What do you do?
Well, I am a veteran now. I exited the Marine Corps in October of 2019. And honestly, I kind of like stepped away. I have my uniforms are still in my closet hanging. While I was in the Marine Corps, I was a volunteer youth sports coach. So I coached basketball and baseball. And a lot of the kids that I coached, they're on their, some of them are about to graduate high school now. Some of them already enlisted in the Marine Corps. A lot of my recruits that I trained into Marines, they're becoming corporals and sergeants, and they're looking at becoming drill instructors and advancing in their careers. So now I'm, once a Marine, always a Marine, but I don't put the uniform on anymore. When my phone rings and it's a Marine, I answer. They're looking for advice, mentorship, guidance, how to deal with, small unit leadership problems, because that's one of the biggest things in the Marine Corps that makes us such an amazing fighting force is small unit leadership. And I feel like when my phone rings, majority of the time, it's a young sergeant or a young corporal. Hey, Staff Sergeant, and I'm like, hey, you just call me Daniel now, and like, Staff Sergeant, I'm trying to figure out, how do I handle this troubled Marine, or this Marine that's dealing with financial problems, or this Marine that can't show up on time, or whatever the case may be. And it's just how to work through problems that's at the small unit level. So that's what I do now. If my phone rings, I'm always there for them. Especially my recruits and my old Marines that were in my platoon that I was under my charge, and I just answer questions. And sometimes, they just call to chat and check on me, see how I'm doing. And I see them on social media, and I check on them, make sure their family's okay and stuff like that. And it's all love. It's a blessing being part of the brotherhood. My brothers and sisters that I served with, they're out there doing amazing things right now. Some of them have exited the military as well, and they're going to school, or they're pursuing, their careers and stuff like that. And it's just awesome to see, like, when I was growing up in Brooklyn, New York, like I didn't kick it with certain types of people. And I feel like the Marine Corps opened my eyes to like all types of people and being able to be one in a unit with people that I never would have talked to perhaps when I was growing up, because they weren't part of a certain crowd or whatever the case may be. And the Marine Corps did that. It brought me, to all these people from all over the United States and the world and just made us a family and like a distant family, but one that I know that if I need something or they need something, the phone's always going to get picked up. So
well, it's been just great to see your growth and development. And as the time goes on, Danny, do you look down the road? Like, where do you see yourself, say in 10 years in pro wrestling? It could be a lifetime from now, but what's the ultimate goal?
I just want to be like you said, Rocky Romero, a household name. I want to be a household name in 10 years. I want everyone to know who Danny Limelight is. And I want to be wrestling on everybody's TV screen. I want to be traveling with the biggest companies. I want to be a champion. I want to be someone that's respected and that people write on their list. I want to have a match with, Danny Limelight. I want to learn from Danny Limelight. That's what I want to be doing in the wrestling business. I want to be, signed to a major company, doing amazing things and making my daughter proud because she loves watching wrestling. By then, about to make me feel a little bit old, but in 10 years, she'll be 16 driving in her little car, and I just hope that she wouldn't mind still watching her dad or saying that that's her dad on TV.
Somebody comes over and wants to date your daughter, knock, knock, knock. Maybe
better know that when I answer.
The uniform goes back on.
I'll still make sure I'm in shape to fit it. I'll be in great shape still. Put the uniform on, shave the face, put the campaign. You see them hanging on the wall over there, just ready to rock.
Man, that would be awesome. All right. Well, listen, I want to wish you the best of luck in this upcoming Lion'S Break Crown tournament. I know you're going to do big things. I look forward to seeing you continue your success on New Japan Strong. It's been a fabulous ride. I'm glad to be a part of it and help tell your story.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
All right. Danny Limelight's our guest, and we'll see him with new episodes of New Japan Strong each and every Friday on NJPWworld.com. You'll see a whole more of Danny Limelight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.